we can all attest to the experience that life is changing moment to moment. What I'd like you to try on is that there's actually an orderliness, a trajectory to all of this change. All of this change has a particular through line, and in today's video we're going to be discussing the three main forces that are responsible for carrying out this change. So come check out the video. So I invite you to think of this change like a constant wheel. A constant wheel, and what the Vedas teach is that the agenda, the trajectory for all of this activity is actually evolution. What's evolution? We think of evolution in kind of traditional, perhaps scholastic terms of the apes becoming humans, but evolution is alive and well right now as we speak. So all of this change is actually evolutionary. Progress is always the theme of life. Sometimes that progress does look like turbulence and suffering and destruction, and sometimes progress is much more easily detected. But what I'm proposing to you is that it's all progressive. So think about this wheel of evolution that's turning. We know from physics that anything in motion has a particular force that's acting upon it in order for it to remain in motion, to begin its motion, and ultimately to end that same motion. So this wheel has three main spokes that are the forces, the components that are allowing this wheel of evolution to be carried through. The three main spokes here are creation, maintenance, and destruction. There's a creation operator in nature that is supporting evolution. There's a maintenance operator in nature that's supporting this larger agenda of evolution. And there's certainly a destruction operator that it also has a critical role to play. So creation, maintenance, and destruction are the three lead actors, the three main vehicles that are sending this motion, this energy of evolution through the cosmos. So how does this become relevant to us? Given that nature, given that this larger aspect of life that's moving through each one of us, given that it operates out of this principle of evolution, we as individuals get to examine our lives. In what ways am I participating? Am I in the flow of? Am I a reflection of this larger through line of progress? So how is my individual life a reflection of what totality is doing on the grandest scale? Now, if and when I can align my individuality with what totality is doing, I'm going to garner a particular set of responses from totality. And when my individual life is not a reflection of that larger agenda, when I'm not participating in my own evolution, when I'm repeating the past, when I'm making choices that don't serve me, when I'm taking actions that are out of alignment, nature also has a particular response. Nature can't help but to respond to the individual. The individual and totality are intimately linked as reflections. You could think of it like the individual like a wave, and totality is that vast, unbounded, underlying ocean. So as that wave, how can I sync up with the motion of the ocean? Rhyme. So how can I sync up with that larger through line? And in doing so, gain the support of nature. So when the individual starts to act in accordance with evolution, then nature starts to, if we want to personify nature, nature starts to take notice and starts to come to the support of that individual because he or she is playing the game, so to speak. So let's make this practical. I invite you to get out a notebook, and I'd like you to write creation, maintenance, and destruction. And on the other axis, I'd like you to write serving me, not serving me, or you could choose evolutionary, anti-evolutionary. You could choose my future, my past. So pick terms that resonate with you, but I'd like you to take inventory. What are you creating in your life that's in service of your evolution? And then flip it. What are you creating in your life that is counterintuitive to your progress? Then move to the next one. What are you maintaining in your life that's in service of your evolution? What are you maintaining? What do you continue to hold on to that has become counter-evolutionary? And then moving to the third, what are you destroying in service of your evolution? And what are you destroying that is actually holding you back? So take inventory of each of these categories, and you'll begin to get a framework. You'll bring consciousness to these distinctions of the ways in which you're really showing up for yourself and the person that you're becoming, and the ways in which you're holding yourself back. So build a little formula for yourself. And consciousness works with affirmation rather than negation. So while we're going to take a total inventory, what's going to be most effective at the end of that is to begin to focus on what you can create rather than what you need to kill away. Because as you start to hone in and focus and send your energy into the creation operator, that which is relevant to be maintained will naturally start to integrate, and that which is not in service of your evolution will spontaneously begin to be destroyed. So instead of hyper-focusing on destruction and hyper-focusing on maintenance, what's going to be the cosmic lube to this wheel here is deeply focusing into how you can show up as the most powerful creation operator you can in your life. So while the three spokes all are present, the formula for this evolution to really start to ramp up is that creation operator is primary, creation's in the driver's seat, maintenance operator is riding shotgun, and destruction operator is in the back. Sometimes we need to call up destruction operator to get the job done, but primarily we're in creation operator mode. And that is what's going to set us up to really start flowing with our own evolution. Nature wants us to evolve. We are creative, evolving beings. And when we're willing to play the game of evolution, we get all kinds of beautiful support. When we start to resist our own growth and evolution, that's when things start to get a little rocky and bumpy. A quick story. I was in a several year-long relationship with my ex-girlfriend, and deep into that relationship, I had started to intuitively become aware of the sense that it was time to end the relationship. The relationship had run its course. The lessons had been learned. Every type of experience had been had, and the well had just run dry. So at that point, I was putting maintenance operator in the driver's seat, and I stayed in that relationship, and I tried to maintain it. And destruction operator came in all sorts of different ways: conflict, drama, turbulence of all kinds. So when we overly maintain, that's beyond that window of relevancy, destruction operator takes notice and starts to come in and do some cleanup. So for my situation, when I started to intuitively get the sense that the relationship was ending inside of me, it would have been most progressive in those moments to create the ending of the relationship, to create the destruction such that I wasn't suffocating myself and ultimately my partner by trying to overly maintain something that had run its course. So I'm sure you can come up with many of your own examples, but think of your life in terms of creation, maintenance, and destruction. Do the homework and begin to tap in to the ways in which you can more powerfully participate in your evolution. Thank you so much for watching the video. I trust it was helpful and supportive. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments, and I'll talk to you really soon. Change.